All right. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. My name is Maria Luisa Garnica. I am the Education USA advisor here in Guatemala, based at Instituto Guatemalteco Americano, IGA, in Guatemala City. And today we have a very special session with our guest, Jamea Tini from Common App. She's the director of Student Engagement Programs. Thank you so much, Jamea, for being with us. And thank you everyone who's joining and everyone who's going to watch later on. I know we maybe get some people here from different countries, so feel free to share where you're joining us from in the chat. We would love to hear which countries or cities you are based at, and maybe tell us if you are applying to US universities and colleges this fall. That's very exciting. Today, we're going to have a very brief welcome and explaining what is Education USA, and then we'll jump right into the content that Jamea is going to share with us, the essentials on the Common App. You know, some updates, some tips, and some tricks that you can take into account. And then we will have a Q&A section towards the end. Feel free to send your questions in the chat to, if you're on Zoom, here to Mariana Hernandez. She's going to help us gather the questions, and then we'll ask them to Jamea towards the end. So what is Education USA? Education USA is your official source of US higher education information. We are a network of more than 400 advising centers around the world that promotes US higher education. So we can give you recommendations and tips and resources and tools to guide your process of applying to US universities and colleges. And I invite you, if you are not yet in touch with your Education USA Advising Center, you can go to educationusa.state.gov to search for the nearest advising center, or you can also search for the country or city and Education USA on social media and see if you can connect with us that way a little more efficiently. All right, so here is our main topic, of course, the Common App. I'm guessing if you're here, it's because you've heard of it. I'm guessing if you're here, it's because you're going to use it. And here is a QR code that you can scan to go to the Common App and start kind of browsing and understanding alongside Jamea, who is going to share a lot of important information and tips regarding the Common App. One thing that I would like to say is always use your full name. If you are in Latin America, I know sometimes we have a lot of names, but maybe Jamea can tell us a little bit about that and how you should always use your full name so that it corresponds with all of your documents. So please, Jamea, take it away. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Hello, everyone. I hope you are well today. I hope it is a good day for you. I am going to share my screen, and we're going to jump right into our presentation related to the Common App. Today, we'll spend some time talking about the Common App, its platform, and the resources that we offer. Of course, we'll have time at the end should you have questions. I'll definitely be around to answer those questions, and we'll jump right in to make sure that we have time for everything. So my name is Jamea, as has been stated. I am from the Common App team, specifically the Student Success team. At the Common App, we have an application platform and lots of colleagues who work behind the scenes to support various areas, whether it's our membership, the colleges and universities that have their application on the platform, whether it's for counselors and other education professionals who support students. And then we have the coolest section, which is the student section. And we are the team that works each day to support students as they navigate the admissions and enrollment process. Today, we'll cover a few things: our Common App community, how to approach the application, some tools that you can use over the course of the application, and again, we'll take time for your questions. Let's jump right in. So for those who don't know, I'm going to give a brief overview of what Common App is. We're an online application, simply stated, that makes applying to college easily. We are a single platform. Over nearly, literally, 1,100 colleges use our platform for students to be able to apply for admissions to their university. We manage those applications, and we also do some connection to other resources as well. Each year, over 1 million students, about 1.4 million students, used our application platform just last year to apply to one of our nearly 1,100 colleges and universities that we have on the application. A third of those students are the first in their families to ever attend college. So if that is a part of your scenario, just know a large group of students share that same story, and we support students as they navigate this process. Here's a little snapshot into our membership. We have 1,074 member institutions, that's colleges and universities, that hold their application on our platform. 307 of those are from public schools in the United States of America. As you can see, they come from 50 states. That includes the United States, as well as a District of Columbia, our capital state in our world, or in the US, as well as Puerto Rico. We have 56 international members. That's 56 universities and colleges that are outside of the US that students can apply to as well. They're coming from 18 countries outside of the US. So with a host of colleges that you can take part in, meaning there are nearly 1,100 colleges that you can explore on the platform, we wanted to develop a tool that would help you to answer some questions related to how you make those decisions. How do you build your college list? In just a moment, I'm going to talk about going into the platform and building your college list. But before you get started, we know the college search process is so wide. You have your career interests that you're interested in. You have your major interests. You have lots of decisions whether or not you want to go to a small school or a medium school, or maybe a large school you're comfortable with attending. You may also be looking for specific services that particular college offers. So we encourage you to take a look at our Pathfinder. This tool is a guide to help you to answer some questions as it relates to researching individual colleges and universities. For example, if I have one of those memberships pulled up and I decide I want to explore this college because I think this college may be a good fit for me, I want to ask myself a series of questions. Is it an academic match? Meaning, do they offer the academic program that I'm interested in? Maybe I'm interested in engineering. I need to be able to research those particular colleges on my list to determine, do they offer the engineering programs? Do they offer it? But don't just stop there. The next layer, is it a career match for me? What type of internships, co-ops, cooperative opportunities, research opportunities will I have that are specifically tied to my major? Does that school offer opportunities for me to get training, connect with future companies, prepare for graduate school? What type of resources are available? Is it a financial match for me? Looking at my particular budget for college, can I afford to attend this institution based on the bill that will be available after I receive any type of scholarship or funding for school? And then is it a personal match for me? Meaning, when you think about the type of colleges you want to attend, what type of class size are you interested in? When you think about when you sit down in your college English course, do you want 100 people in that college English course with you? Do you want 15 students with you? Or maybe you'll settle for 50 in the class with you. That really depends on your interest level and what type of support that you need. So you'll determine, is it a small, medium, or large college that I'm interested in? On the right-hand side, you'll see a QR code where you can get this resource. It's available in English and Spanish versions. You can download this particular resource and take advantage. Each of these terms that you see on the Pathfinder are broken down into definitions that'll help you answer those questions that you need to guide you to make and develop your good, safe college list that has multi-levels to it, but that also meets the needs that you have for post-secondary education. That's a lot of information to research and find out, right? So how do I record this information? You can develop your Google spreadsheet, of course. You can have a notebook. I love a notebook. I've had a notebook all my life. Right now on my desk, I have a notebook that I use to navigate my life still. So gather a notebook. You may have a college workbook. You may store it in the note sections of your phone. The note sections of my iPhone has lots of information that I want to keep handy. Also, your school may offer resources, but start to develop your organized notebook or organized place where you have all your college information that will help you as you navigate the process. Now let's talk about approaching the application. They showed you earlier a link into our website, so that's commonapp.org. Very easy site to find. The top right-hand corner, there are a couple of things that are going on. You'll see either you can sign into your account. That means you've already created your Common App account. You'll just sign it in each time you visit. Or if you haven't, you can create an account. You can also use the mobile app. We have a mobile app available that it replicates our desktop version. So if you're on the go and you want to log into your application, you can use your phone or your iPad to log in and download the Common App mobile app and be able to navigate the application process. So here's how to create your account. If you haven't created your account today, today is the day that you need to create your account. You're going to go to that website where I said commonapp.org, top right-hand corner. You can use that QR code at the bottom that's available as well. You are a first-time student, so you want to click first-year student when you're developing your account. And you enter your personal information, and then you can start the exploration process. Each summer, it's as if you're a junior in high school. If you develop that account prior to your senior year, you'll need to roll over that account. That's information on how to roll it over. We'll send you a message each summer too to let you know about doing that. So now you have your first year application account. You look inside that account, you see the tabs right across that say Dashboard, My Colleges, Common App, College Search, Financial Aid. We're going to break down each of those particular tabs. First, the dashboard is your main screen. That's the screen that you'll get when you log in. Any messages or notifications that you have about your application process will be on your dashboard screen. The next tab is your My Colleges. So that is, you have gone to the college search tab, that's 4 tabs over, and you have searched for colleges that you want to add to your list. Once you add those colleges to your My College list, you'll see them under that My Colleges tab. Then you have the next tab, which is Common App. That's the Common App application. You'll see there, you filling out your profile information, your family education testing, courses and grades. You'll do your submit your Common App essay there, as well as complete the activity section. And I'll break down those sections in just a moment, of course. The last section is financial aid, which has resources likely for domestic applicants as they navigate the application process. So let's talk about the writing section that's found under the Common App section. We have on the Common App essay 7 different essay prompts that you can choose from. You'll see them listed there. There's a 650 word limit for each of those essays that you choose. Also, let's talk about the activity section. This is also under the Common App section. You can report up to 10 activities in your application. And we like to highlight those activities can be community service, clubs, sports. If you have a job outside after school job or a weekend job. Also, family responsibilities are important. They exhibit leadership skills and other soft skills that colleges are looking for. So you'll see a snapshot on the right-hand side of what you fill out for each of those activities. They're going to ask you to describe those activities, describe any leadership roles that you've held, how many hours that you spend in that activity, how many years have you done that activity while in high school. Lots of information to gather to give that particular college or university a holistic view of what that activity is and what kind of value it brings to your application. There's also ways to self-report your test scores in that Common App section as well. Of course, you'll have to still send your official test scores via the testing agency, but some schools will ask you to self-report your test scores in that section so that you can submit that to the college. And here is a snapshot. So I talked about that second tab, the My Colleges tab. You see an example here of the applicant that has listed 5 colleges under their My Colleges tab, meaning they went to college search, they added 5 colleges to their My Colleges tab that they want to apply to. Amherst College, George Mason University, Hampshire College, Indiana University Bloomington, and Penn State are the choices in this example. Under each of those colleges, you'll see Amherst College open. You see their college information on the screen. You want to see first, they have specific questions. Under that questions tab that you see in the application, you'll see that they may have institutional questions that they may be asking for you to answer. And you will go to that section and complete their institutional questions. The next section is recommenders and FERPA. There, you will assign your recommenders, invite and assign recommenders to your application. I'll talk about that more in just a moment. You'll also complete the FERPA release authorization. What does that mean? That is the authorization that gives Common App permission to submit your information to that college or university. You must complete the FERPA release authorization for each college that you're looking to apply to. The next you'll see is review and submit Common App information. Again, you go there and you review your Common App application, the things that are under that third tab. You review that information and then you'll submit that information to that particular college. In this example, it's Amherst College. And then there you'll see questions under the writing supplement. So there may be additional writing questions or things that they're asking you for. You're going to review and submit that information there. And you can also, again, I want to highlight there on that right-hand side, you can link to their admissions office, their college website, get their contact information, keep up with their deadlines. All of that key information about each member is going to be listed there as well when you click on each college. So you have to complete your recommendation letters. Now, here's the key. Some members require a certain amount of recommendation letters. There may be some members that don't require a recommendation letter. You'll find that information on the college's page. They'll be able to tell you, hey, you need to submit a specific type or specific number of recommendation letters. They may only require counselor recommendation. They may require counselor and teacher recommendation. But let's go through the different types of recommender types, because you'll invite these people to your application. They'll have their own account. They'll complete the recommendation letter and submit it as a part of your application. You won't be able to see it, but you'll see that they completed those steps. Number 1, you have your counselor who completes your school forms and send transcripts. About 40% of our members require a letter of recommendation from a counselor. A counselor can also view your completion progress and get a PDF copy of your application. Of course, you need to grant them permission to do that, and you will do that when you're inviting and assigning them to your application to write a recommendation. Also, a teacher. A teacher can complete a recommendation, a teacher evaluation, and write a letter of recommendation. No school is going to require more than 2 recommendation letters. Then you have other recommenders. There may be a college that says, hey, give us another type of recommender that may be outside of your school. It may be a boss if you have a part-time job, maybe your employer, maybe a coach, maybe a peer, or maybe clergy. It really depends on what that college is asking for. They may ask for another recommender. You can invite that recommender to write a recommendation letter on your behalf. The last recommender type is an advisor. This person is not submitting any forms on your behalf. So maybe you have a mentor, or maybe you're part of a nonprofit that supports you as you navigate the application process, and you want to assign an advisor to your application. You can invite up to 3 advisors to your application who do not submit any forms, but they can, with your permission, review your completion progress and print a PDF copy of your application. Let's talk about some tools that you can use. So I talked about the essay. So of course, I talked about the Common App essay. There's 7 different essay prompts. As you can see, my colleagues Jen and Emma have a video about breaking down each of the essay prompts. I like to encourage students to view that video. During that video, they give you prompting questions that will help you to structure and outline your essay as you're developing. If you are walking through the first year application, you'll see at the top of the page, my colleague Amani does a first year Common App walkthrough for first year students. I encourage you to view that video as well. It goes section by section. You can stop that video as you're completing those individual pieces of the application. Also, my colleague Brian breaks down the activity section. So if you have more questions or need promptings around building your activity section, he really breaks that down and helps you to think about the types of activities that you want to put. How can you find these videos? Go to YouTube and go to Common App Media. That's our official Common App page where we talk a lot about and host these particular videos to support you through the application process. Now, we don't just have it in video form. We also have it in paper form. And you'll see here our resources, our Common App Ready resources. The first one at the top is our Tell Your Story. That's the essay resource that we use. So when I talked about prompting questions, and you'll see a snapshot here, they talk about each prompt and then they ask you and give you prompting things to think about and to ask yourself as you're outlining your essay. These particular handouts are available in English and Spanish. So please feel free to take advantage of these particular resources because they help you to kind of frame your thinking as you're completing your applications. We also have one-on-one virtual mentorship. It's a free mentorship program where you can connect with an advisor who helps you, or a mentor rather, helps you apply to college, create time management, and to think about your plan for the future. You may ask, what questions do I have as you complete the application process? They may come up. Just know we have 24/7 support. I want you to hone in on appsupport.commonapp.org. If you're looking for an email address to help you specifically with your application, appsupport.commonapp.org is the email address that you will use to do that. And I'll put it in the chat once I conclude the presentation so that you can keep up with that particular email address. Also, we have our Solution Center, which offers popular FAQs that pretty much can answer any question you have about the application, but you can also submit a ticket if you have and contact our support team. You'll see a chat option there if you have things that you need us to assist you with your application. Also follow us on social media. We're having a blast on social media, helping you navigate the process. I talked about our YouTube page. We have two, our Common App Media and also our student channel, which is our Better Make Room channel. We're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, we're on X, we're on TikTok, and we're doing videos each monthly to kind of prompt you and things that you need to be doing in the admissions and enrollment process as you navigate. All righty. And I'm going to stop sharing so that I can see you. And again, I'm going to throw that email address into the chat so that you can have to follow up with. Let me go to my chat. How about that? And I'm happy to take any questions that you have. I see some notes here.
All right. Thanks, Jamia. That was great. That was a lot of information. And I'm going to remind people that they can share questions with Q&A Mariana here on Zoom. We're going to start with one basic one about the activities. What do you recommend if I have more than 10 activities? Where can I include them in my Common App?
There is an additional information section in the Common App application, and you're welcome to include more information in that additional information. It is a limited section. So if you have a resume or anything like that, we recommend you send it directly to the member. You can find their email address. If you click on their in your My Colleges tab, you click on that college, you can always email them directly any additional information that you want to share beyond what's listed in their application.
Great, thank you. We have a question about what is the difference between counselors and advisors when you were explaining teachers, counselors, etc. Could you elaborate a little?
Question. Yeah, absolutely. A counselor is a school official who's able to submit official school documents like transcripts and school profiles and those types of things on your behalf and recommendation letter. An advisor is not in the school. It is a person that's just supporting you with the application. They are not permitted to submit any forms, but they can support you and see your progress as you navigate the application process.
Okay, great. So kind of like you have if you've been in advising sessions with an Education USA advisor, that will be that kind of figure that is outside of your school.
Absolutely.
Whereas you may have a counselor. I know in Guatemala, some schools don't have the positions of counselors per se, but there's always maybe a coordinator or a head of department that can fill in that role, correct?
Absolutely. So that could be a head of the school or some type of coordinator who's supporting a submission of those documents.
Okay, thank you. And we have a question about recommendation letters. I remember back in the day, there used to be something that was called like a cheat sheet that the student could fill out and kind of remind the teacher. Is that does that still exist? And how can students access these kinds of resources to remind their teachers the projects that they did together, how they met and whatnot?
And if you go to, I'm going to put in the website, commonapp.org/plan, you'll find a brag sheet that you can submit to teachers and recommenders. I put that website there. You can click on that link. You will be able to go to our website. Under those Common App Ready resources, you should be able to find a brag sheet that you can fill out to be able to submit for those recommenders. Absolutely, that still exists, not going anywhere.
Great, that's really useful. I really recommend if you're going to ask for letters of recommendation that you fill that out when you get the okay from your recommender so that it's a little easier for them. We got some questions. Okay, so what if I'm still not sure which school to apply to? Can I still begin my Common App?
Yes, you can begin the Common App section of your application now. It is open and open on August 1, so you can start that section as you continue to add colleges to your My College list.
Great, thank you. And then you said that each summer Common App reminds you that you have your account there so you can roll it over for the next year, right?
Absolutely. So if you're a junior, you won't need to roll over until you're a junior. Of course, you can't start the application process until you're a senior in high school. So just know, keeping up with that. When you're a junior, after you completed your junior year of high school, before you start your last year in high school, you will roll over your application. What rolls over? Your college list. So if you start to add colleges prior to your senior year, that will roll over. If you fill out the Common App section in your account, that information will roll over. And if you invite any advisors, not school officials, any advisors to your application, that's what will roll over as well inside your Common App account.
Okay, thank you. We have, what if I have more classes or subjects than there are spaces in the Common App?
Well, that information will be captured on your transcript. So just know if you want to give a snapshot of your courses and grades there, but you also need to submit your official transcripts to whatever colleges, universities that you're choosing to apply.
Right, and I would say it's the same with activities. You kind of have to trust that there will be other spaces where you can hopefully talk about that. And if you have a specific space, then maybe do priority, right? Which are the things that you feel most passionate about as extracurriculars? Or if you don't have enough room for classes, trust that that'll be reflected on the transcript, and you can use the specific spaces for those subjects that you're really interested in, right? Somebody asked us, what if my teachers don't speak English? What would you recommend in this case?
Your teachers don't speak English, meaning their recommendation letter would not be in English?
I think that's what they mean, potentially, yes.
I would suggest that I'm sure that the teacher, it would probably not be their first time writing a recommendation for maybe an American university who their first language is English. So they may have opportunities to translate their recommendation letter. I'm sure there are lots of services available to do that. So I will work with them to make sure that information gets translated appropriately. So, and they would have to do that. Of course, they're submitting it on their own, but that information should be translated in English.
Right, thank you. Just to remind everyone who's joining us, please kindly send your questions to the user Q&A Mariana so that we can have all the questions answered. So please redirect them to her. Next question. Can I create my Common App account if I start the IB until next year and I'm not yet a senior? I believe the answer is yes, right?
Absolutely. You can create your Common App account now.
You can create it as soon as you want, even, start to get familiar with the essays and just the platform. There's no limit on how early you can start this. And we also get a question about the amount of years. This was a question in Spanish. So they ask, in the US, they ask for the last 4 years of high school, of high school, yes. But sometimes in Latin America, we have about 6 years of schooling, depending on how it's divided. So which correspond to the last 4 years for the US? That would just mean, I think I'm just going to take that, Jamea. That just means from your senior year back 4 years. So an example here in Guatemala would be if you are doing Bachillerato en Ciencias y Letras, which is the regular high school, you would do quinto bachillerato, cuarto bachillerato, tercero básico, y segundo básico. So you do your last 4 years of high school, no matter how many years you were in high school in your Latin American country. Does that sound right, Jamea?
That's correct.
Okay, thank you. Okay, this question is, does the Common App allow us to apply for scholarships too?
Yes, if those are applicable to you, so you can go to that financial aid tab and scholarships that are available to you, you'll see them there, those that you may be eligible for. They also have links to outside scholarship entities where you can research your own scholarships to see those particular support areas.
Okay, thank you. Somebody asked a specific question, which I think we will need to elaborate a little more on, or they can reach out to their Education USA Advising Center. If we have a high school diploma, can we put it on the Common App too? Is this important for a college application? I mean, if I'm understanding correctly, your high school diploma, of course, is important, and you will have to attach it to your Common App. But I'm not sure if you have a different kind of question that may be more specific. So I invite you, whomever asked this question, to reach out to your Education USA Advising Center so we can help you a little more. And
yeah,
next,
you can include your education information in the education section, which would include your history of completing your high school diploma. Of course, they will request that official documentation to be translated and those types of things sent over to that official college or university through their services.
Okay, thank you. Next would be, what recommendation would you have for someone who has already completed high school and doesn't have communication with their teachers anymore? Any tips or tricks for that?
Yeah, that's a great question. First, you want to add your colleges to your My College list and determine what type of recommendations they're requesting. Sometimes they are not requiring a council or teacher recommendation. They may allow you to do other recommenders outside of the school. In the case where there may be a teacher requirement, you may want to look to reach out to your previous high school to see if any of your teachers are still available. If not, you'll reach out to that member directly for their specific advice on how you should move forward if you've already completed your high school education.
Right. Okay, great. So maybe there will be a chance that you don't have to worry about that because maybe you won't need to reach out to them. But in any case, I would recommend in case maybe there were some teachers that stand out from your experience in high school that maybe you can have a mental note or a physical note, like Jamea said, in your notebook, and have them as backup in case you need to reach out to them. Okay. Now, next question. Question about the application fee. She said, as you said, there are colleges that do not require a fee. But if we would like to apply to a university that requires it, is there any pathway to request a fee waiver?
At this time, we don't offer fee waivers for international applicants.
Okay. And I would say on this note, some schools can offer fee waivers, but you kind of have to demonstrate that you're interested in them, right? You have to be involved with them on social media. You have to have maybe sent a couple contact emails or be part of some webinars that they have for international students. So it's important that it's not just about fishing for fee waivers. It's about looking for the best fit universities for you and having a clear intention in your application process. That's kind of why we recommend you take about 18 months, 12 maybe, at least 12 months to look at your application process here, okay, to the US. We have a question about sports and volunteering. If I did sports and volunteering activities in my gap year after finishing high school, do they count as extracurriculars? Is it right for me to include them in my Common App?
Yeah, I think actually, yes, it will be good for you to include them. Any activities that you completed, I'm sure if you talk about the years, you can probably put in 12th, check the 12th year. And you can also add an extra note in the section where you're describing the activity and the time that you spent. You could describe there was a gap year activity. So yes, absolutely. Anything that you completed at high school or shortly after that will be included in that time, definitely include that in your application.
Okay, thank you. We have a very specific question here, but let's see how we can help this person. If my parent worked at a university as a professor, but not anymore because she's working at a hospital, is she a doctor or what should I mark? They are referring to the family section of the Common App that asks about the current employment or retired, about university or college employment. I don't know if you can help them out with this very specific question.
Yeah, if he or she holds a doctorate degree, then whether it's in the medical field, whether it's in the academic areas, then you will list them as a doctor. If not, you would not list it there.
Okay, there we go. So think about the present, right? For this student, think about the present employment and the present like academic status for your parents, right? And somebody's asking about recommendations on the topic of essays. Maybe you can tell us a little bit more about the commonapp.org/plan site that you said has lots of resources, especially
Absolutely.
for writing.
Absolutely. So commonapp.org/plan has a telling my story resource there that I highlighted during the session. You can pull that resource down and it gives you some prompting questions as you develop your essay for each of our prompts that are out there for the Common App essay. As well, if you go to our YouTube page on Common App Media, you can find a video that does the same as well.
Great, thank you. And somebody asks, where can I translate my grades in official documents? And here I will say it'll depend on each country, depending on where you're at and what the universities require. Sometimes they will require an official translation with an official translator and interpreter, or sometimes they can accept an unofficial translation that you can maybe work with a teacher or yourself or an Education USA Advising Center, but it will depend on each country. I recommend you reach out to your advising center, to your Education USA Advising Center, and verify with the universities you're looking to apply to what they require. Okay, next, again about the activities. Do the activities have an order? I mean, should I write them from most important to less important, or does it not matter? What would you say?
It doesn't matter. You can include them in any way that you would like.
There we go. Thank you. And let's see. Could you tell us a little bit more about the brag sheet for the recommendation letters?
Yeah, the brag sheets just allow you to list your accomplishments and things that you are interested in, things that you would like maybe the recommender to highlight as they're writing your recommendation letter. As you can imagine, if you're asking a teacher or a counselor to write a recommendation letter, they're dealing with a lot of students. And so you want to make sure that you give them all the information that you can to support them to be able to write the best recommendation letter for you.
Okay. We have an interesting question here. Can the Common App help me enter an Ivy League university? What is your opinion on that?
We do have Ivy Leagues on our application, so you can definitely apply to Ivy Leagues on our application. We necessarily can't help you get into those, but we provide the platform for you to be able to apply to those universities.
Right. So I would say here you have to remember that it's a two-way thing, right? You have to reflect on your accomplishments academically, extracurricular, and your personality too. And that's why the whole element of finding the best fit through thousands of universities. There's approximately 4,000 universities in the US, and a little more than 1,000 use the Common App to make the application easier. But there are a lot of other universities that don't use the Common App. So beyond trying to get in or not, you kind of have to think what will be best for you and what you are looking for, and how to filter through you many universities to find what would be the best experience for you for 4 years if you're thinking about undergraduate degrees. All right, Jamea, that's most of the questions. I don't know if you have any last words of recommendation for the people who joined us today and the people who will be applying to the US this season.
Thank you so much for having me first. It was a joy to talk to each one of you. Make sure to start your process. Get your My Colleges list added, research those deadlines, find out the information and the pieces that you need to submit for each school, and make sure to plan out what you need to do in order to get it done so that you can chart your journey to college or university of your choice.
Absolutely. And don't forget to reach out to your nearest Education USA Advising Center. Remember that this session will be available on YouTube and also on Facebook for the Education USA Guatemala page. And again, thanks everyone who joined us from many different countries. We had Chile, Paraguay, Colombia, Guatemala, and I'm sure many other, and of course the US. Thanks, Jamea, for your time, and good luck to everyone. Bye-bye.